Bree accidentally dropped her diamond ring into the pool. Both sisters immediately jumped in to recover it, but instead of finding the ring, Janna's hair became tangled in the filtration system. Bree rushed over without hesitation to help her. Neither of them realized that an even greater threat was approaching. Believing the facility was empty, the pool manager, McGrady, activated the closing mechanism and left for the day. Moments later, the enormous fiberglass cover began moving across the water. Bree noticed it and frantically pulled Janna's trapped hair loose. They hurried upward as fast as possible, but they were already out of time. The cover shut completely, trapping them beneath it. The sisters yelled desperately, hoping someone would hear them, but the building was deserted. They pushed against the cover with everything they had, yet it refused to move. To make matters worse, the facility had already closed for the week. With panic setting in, they searched for any possible escape. A small opening in the cover caught their attention, but it was far too narrow. Not even a hand could pass through it. Bree grabbed a plastic board and attempted to enlarge the gap. She worked tirelessly, but the opening remained unchanged. The hopeless circumstances pushed Janna over the edge. She angrily blamed Bree for everything. If the ring had never fallen, none of this would have happened. Not wanting to fight, Bree dove underwater by herself once more. This time, she successfully recovered the ring. During the search, she noticed something important. The drain grate beneath her appeared loose. If they could remove it, it might be strong enough to break the cover. Bree pulled with all her strength, but it stayed firmly in place. She urgently called for Janna's assistance, but Janna brushed off the idea. Just then, Bree's fiancé David tried calling her phone. Hope immediately returned to Bree's face, as she believed he would come looking for her. Hours passed, afternoon faded into evening, and the phone rang repeatedly. Yet David never arrived. Suddenly, the automatic pool light shut off. Darkness swallowed the entire area. Bree sat there looking exhausted and weak. As a diabetic, she desperately needed insulin, but her medication remained inside her bag beyond the pool cover. Watching Bree's condition worsen, Janna finally settled down. Quietly, she picked up the plastic board and resumed trying to widen the opening. By now, the sisters had been trapped for 4 hours. Then the lights switched back on. The night cleaner, Clara, had arrived. Seeing someone nearby, the sisters pounded against the cover and screamed for help. Their cries went ignored. Instead, Clara began searching through Bree's wallet and discovered only a small amount of cash along with a bank card. Clara appeared frustrated by what she found. She then disabled the pool's security cameras before casually approaching the trapped women. It turned out she had recently been released from prison after serving time for theft. Burdened by debt and responsible for a daughter at home, she was desperate for money. She decided to take advantage of the situation. Clara demanded the PIN for Bree's bank card. Only then did the sisters understand they were being extorted. Furious, Janna shouted insults at her. Clara became enraged. In response, she immediately turned off the pool's heating system. The water gradually became colder and colder. After thinking carefully, Bree finally gave Clara the PIN number. Clara insisted on checking it first and promised she would release them afterward. The sisters shivered helplessly in the freezing water while waiting for her return. Eventually, Clara came back, but she still refused to open the cover. When questioned, she angrily claimed they had deceived her. There was only $80 in the account. Furious, Clara demanded an explanation. Janna pleaded with her to open the cover and explained that Bree's diabetes made insulin essential for her survival. Clara refused to believe a word of it. As Bree grew weaker by the minute, Janna's hatred toward Clara intensified. Determined to strike back, she tricked Clara into leaning closer to the opening. Her plan worked, and she managed to injure her, but the consequences were severe. Consumed by anger, Clara marched straight to the control panel and activated the pool's cleaning system. Instantly, powerful jets forced chlorine-filled water into the pool. The intense currents left the sisters dizzy and struggling to stay oriented. Exhausted and overwhelmed, Bree slipped beneath the surface. Janna panicked and quickly pulled her back toward the small opening so she could breathe. Seeing how close they were to drowning, Clara decided she did not want their deaths on her conscience. She switched the system off. Returning to the pool, Clara demanded Bree's diamond ring. Bree hesitated, but ultimately surrendered it. Examining the ring, Clara figured it could bring her a decent amount of money. Believing she had taken everything of value, she finally headed to the control room to release them. However, when she entered the code needed to open the cover, an error message appeared. McGrady had changed the password earlier. Clara suddenly realized the seriousness of the situation. If she could not free them, the sisters would die. Yet because of her blackmail and theft, she was too afraid to contact anyone for help. She could not risk returning to prison after having just been released. In the end, Clara chose to walk away and leave the sisters trapped. As their hope disappeared once again, Janna lashed out in frustration. When she turned back toward Bree, she discovered her sister had lost consciousness. Without insulin, Bree's life was in immediate danger. Their last remaining option was the metal grate at the bottom of the pool. But Janna was terrified. Earlier, getting tangled underwater had nearly cost her life. Even so, she understood that she was Bree's final chance. Summoning every bit of courage she had, Janna dove underwater and pulled on the grate with all her strength. Her first attempt failed. The second failed as well. Then she found a swimsuit strap and used it to gain better leverage. This time the grate came free. Surfacing quickly, Janna slammed the metal piece against the cover. A crack appeared. She struck it again and again, creating larger fractures. At last, the cover split open. Janna immediately dragged Bree out of the water and injected her with insulin. Bree gradually came back to consciousness. Just as Janna felt relieved, she looked up and saw Clara standing there again. This time, Clara was holding a gun aimed directly at them. She feared that if the sisters survived, they would report everything to the police. To protect herself, she decided to remove the threat permanently. Janna clung tightly to Bree, crying as she promised they would remain silent. Clara did not trust her and continued moving closer. In that desperate moment, Janna remembered Clara's weakness. "If you shoot us," she yelled, "what will become of your daughter?" The words hit Clara hard. Slowly, she lowered the weapon and handed Bree's ring back. Janna immediately called emergency services, and as promised, she allowed Clara to leave. At last, both sisters were safe. The story serves as a reminder to avoid wearing jewelry in the pool and to always use a swim cap.